Roman Reigns has not had a very good run in 2025. Beat Solo Sikoa 6 days into the year on a triumphant, undisputed Tribal Chief match at the premiere of Raw on Netflix. But it feels like ever since then, this year, things have been a major downturn for one of the biggest players in the professional wrestling game. He got eliminated at the Royal Rumble. Granted, he did technically headline WrestleMania again. Yeah, that's still a big deal. We're not trying to write that off. But he was on the losing end of it and got betrayed by Paul Heyman. He managed to pick up another win at SummerSlam and at Clash in Paris, but on the latter, it ended up with him getting beaten down. The recent Australian street fight at Crown Jewel in Perth saw him lose to Bronson Reed in a stunning upset, a match that, because it's a street fight, had a lot of outside interference. It wasn't straight up one-on-one, and it feels like for the most part, he has been getting his ass beat for a good majority of this year. Wins and losses aside, Roman Reigns is not the Roman Reigns of 2024. After the loss to Bronson Reed, it brings up a big question that a lot of Roman Reigns fans, a lot of wrestling fans are asking. Is Roman Reigns getting buried? This is Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kevin Kellum. We're diving deep into the aftermath of WWE Crown Jewel and the status of Roman Reigns. Is he getting buried? To keep it simple, to keep it short, and we'll go into depth here, the answer is no. They're not burying Roman Reigns. In the wrestling circles, the phrase buried has been greatly conflated, distorted, and just flat out abused as a description of having an intended or unintended string of defeats and maybe a downgrade for a certain character on a televised wrestling show. Now, before you're yelling at your screen, could they have utilized him better during 2025? Definitely, likely, yeah. But the same could be said for, any roster that you feel that way about. Maybe even like a John Cena who's still featured quite a bit. The spotlight is just on Roman Reigns more, and that's another thing. You can't be buried if the spotlight's really on you all the time. He is that guy, and because he makes fewer appearances by the year, people are going to be more critical of how these few appearances are handled with him by default, just by circumstance alone with his schedule. It's no secret that things have been maybe less than after WrestleMania 40 and being away from the WWE Universal Championship picture. He was involved with Solo Sikoa after that, but his part-time appearances really didn't help the cause for fickle fans who want more. The last, more exciting thing he was a part of was WrestleMania 41, a strong part of a up and down weekend for WWE, but even that and the build-up to it was strong, but it wasn't the same, right? The bigger issue at hand is maybe the lack of creative depth that we got used to with Roman Reigns before, when you consider the fact that Roman Reigns was a central figure of one of the greatest storylines in WWE in the past few years. Anything beneath that is just considered less than. We keep going back to that. This isn't us giving WWE the pass either. They just maybe have to meet these extreme expectations that fans have built up in their mind. Sometimes that's really hard. As to whether he's buried or not, we'll explain why losing to Bronson Reed wasn't a burial. And for one, he already defeated Bronson Reed in a tag team match and a singles match at Clash in Paris. Yes, we know Roman got really whomped on after that match, but in terms of wins and losses, Bronson needed this one more than Roman. It would just become like Hulk Hogan back in the day. Hulk Hogan beats up another big bad guy. And I know many of you do not want me to compare Roman Reigns to Hulk Hogan. This is simply just about creative plays that are made with a certain character. Also, for the Roman loyalists, we hear you, we feel you, but your guy had to lose to tell a bigger story. The street fight nature of the match in Australia allowed a lot of other people to hit the ring, like Braun Breaker and Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, who've long been at Roman's side on and off, and they were on this time, but miscommunication between them and Roman allowed Bronson to get the upset. Yeah, it was a wild ending. So why wasn't it a burial? Because Roman put over a promising younger star in Bronson Reed. He's doing the biggest thing he he can do post-World Championships with a limited schedule. Make a star out of someone who will be there more than he is week to week. Bronson Reed has been quite underrated for a while now. Even Paul Heyman acknowledged the fact that Braun Breaker was always in the conversation for the future of WWE more than Bronson was. Now, that may have changed. It's a way to fully legitimize the Vision as a faction, because nobody will ask any such questions after burials if they were Braun Breaker picking up a victory. But since Braun is viewed as a future world champion by many, he doesn't need a win like this against Roman Reigns as immediately as Bronson does. Bronson, as we mentioned, needed this. Wade Barrett on commentary said it himself. Beating Roman Reigns today is the equivalent of winning a championship in WWE, and that is a really great point to make. Bronson didn't beat anybody. He beat Roman Reigns. Pull it back even farther. There's just been too much buildup from WWE for Roman Reigns to be buried. We certainly agree that WWE can't take the approach to Roman that they did with John Cena in 2016 and 2017, where he appeared as though he was there to lose to up-and-coming stars and have very few wins in between, but still feel like a big name. You need to keep the balance with somebody like Roman Reigns, where he mostly is winning, possibly, or just coming out on top. Whether that's a win or a lose, fans have to feel like Roman's still a big dog, a tribal chief, an OTC. And that's exactly why it was a big deal to have Bronson beat Roman. Is it really a burial when it's the third time Roman Reigns has been pinned in a singles match in nearly 6 freaking years? That's 6 years. Let that sink in. Maybe it's more just the perception of people thinking that Roman should never lose is the thing that compels you to say he must be buried. It's from one extreme to the other. Since TLC's premium live event at the end of 2019, Roman Reigns has only been pinned by Baron Corbin, Cody Rhodes, and now Bronson Reed in singles matches, despite this last one having a lot of interference to counterbalance the weight there. Yeah, he has technically been pinned by Jey Uso and Solo Sikoa in tag team matches, and yes, he did lose to Seth Rollins via a disqualification at the 2022 Royal Rumble. It's not out of line to say that he might be the single most protected in presentation superstar of WWE this decade. But does that sound like a superstar is getting buried? Like we said, we aren't denying WWE could have done some better things with Roman in 2025. Creatively, but it's just a reflection of the product overall. You really gotta pull back and get some perspective. It seems like Triple H and his team decided that post WrestleMania 40, he would do everything in his power to make sure WWE wasn't too dependent on Roman Reigns. And that is a progressive and productive move, once again, when you pull back and look at the big picture. They were coming off the hottest period in the company's history over the last couple of decades, and in many ways, it was driven by the success of the Bloodline storyline, with Roman Reigns being their Darth Vader at the top. For quite a long time, WWE has kept the mentality that they don't want a single star to be bigger than the company, the way Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, or maybe even John Cena was for a while. The show is the biggest thing of the show. The closest any star has come to that kind of level is a Roman Reigns, and people were tuning in every week to see what would happen with him and the supporting players of the Bloodline. So while it wasn't an outright burial, WWE may have realized that they needed to pull back on Roman a little bit. It's a different time that we're in now as then. Differing standards set by fans of all different degrees, and it's not driven by the fans of one specific performer. It sounds a bit weird, but don't put it past WWE to make sure that they have stars who are on a certain level, just not big enough to surpass the brand itself. As for what's next for Roman Reigns, we anticipate he's heading to War Games at Survivor Series. We know we told you the Usos didn't want to see him until Christmas. I love that line in the ring afterwards when Roman's berating them, saying, "You cost me the match, I don't want to see you until Christmas." But considering that Roman is advertised for Survivor Series in November, it seems like that's the direction this could could be going in. He could have CM Punk by his side. That was a weird thing the last time he was in War Games. He could have the Usos, who he clearly is not on the same level with. Why don't we throw an LA Knight in there for an interesting add-on? But his feud with the Vision faction is far from over. We might just get a clear-cut idea of what WWE has planned for him at WrestleMania 42 next year in Vegas. Whether it's a clash against Braun Breaker or one final rodeo with Seth Rollins, it's likely going to be far more interesting than anything we've seen this year. It's going somewhere, and it could be interesting where it goes right now. What do you want to see happen next with Roman Reigns? Get in the comments below and let us know when you think you've seen a WWE superstar buried. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling for more videos just like this. Turn that bell icon on so you get notifications when we drop new videos. Also, check out the other videos on our channel right now.